Happy Friday! How are you, folks? For any of those that were potentially watching previously, we had a little bit of a technical hiccup. Um, if anybody knows me, I will get really frustrated with technical hiccups, so we just had to restart. Back again for episode number 18. It's Fine Things Friday. I think it's going to be our new SWAT Fridays. I know we were previously doing things on Thursday over lunch, but it just sort of makes sense. Fine Things Friday sort of flows off the tongue. But the structure for today is going to mimic what we always talk about: a company value, one of our philosophies. We're going to dive into exploring the metaverse. And then have a shout out. I think it's important to stay tuned for that shout out at the very end, though, because it is American Artist Appreciation Month in August. So we have an artist who is near and dear to our hearts that we're going to do a little bit of a shout out for. So stay tuned for that at the very end. But let's kick things off with our philosophy, which is learning. And what does learning mean to us at YaZo, and how do we continue to learn? I think first and foremost, it's just admitting up front that, we are not experts in everything digital marketing. I think we are really strong in the strategy piece and we are aware of what's going on. But if you've been a part of business or been a part of anything online in the last month, you've probably seen or heard of AI and everything that's going on in that space and how it's being applied to businesses and ChatGPT and what you can do with that, what it means to your business. So that's just an example of learning, right? And staying on top of the latest and greatest trends. So for us at YaZo, it's really important to keep an open mind and to understand that there's always going to be new opportunities, new areas of development within marketing that we need to continue to learn about. What are your thoughts, Mom? I guess just kind of opening thoughts about learning.
I just love the company philosophy of learning. I think that everybody who joins the team, whether they're in a consultant or an employee role, should have just things that they're doing, reading books, newsletters, articles, things that they're researching organizations that they follow to stay learning. And I think that applies in your personal life too. And I think that, the older I get, it's like you learn to stay young, because if you want to keep a seat at the table and have engaging conversations, not just in business and in marketing and, whatever it is that you're engaging in, but with your children and, with, your friends, being able to have a conversation that shows that you stay learning, I think is super important.
100%. And then you touched on a couple ways that we learn or continue to learn at YaZo, which, of course, reading is really important just from a communication perspective. But is there a newsletter that you can sign up for? Is there an expert or, a mentor that you look at in a certain space? Do they have a podcast? I think for me, that's one of the biggest things, because we're constantly moving and we're on the go. And as much as we've been driving between Pennsylvania and North Carolina, podcasts are great just to continue to stay learning. So I encourage you to find something that is, of enjoyment first and foremost, because if you're trying to learn something that you're not really interested in, that can become really dull. So I think it's important for me, how I look at it is I'll typically write down areas that I want to learn about. And then I'll take some time to go explore those. Like you said, find an expert, find, maybe another company or organization that's playing really, really strongly in that space. And following along in what they're doing, seeing some of the strategies and tactics that they're using. That's a big part and a big piece of learning. But learning is a great transition into our topic, our marketing topic, which is exploring the metaverse. So, Mom, I'm going to throw it over to you to kick us off in that sort of marketing discussion, exploring the metaverse. What is the metaverse first and foremost?
Yeah. So I think it's great to always start with a definition. So we'll start there. You have meta and then you have the metaverse. So what is the difference, and are they the same thing? First and foremost, they're not the same thing. The metaverse is really anything that you're doing online, whether it's through a phone, a laptop, an iPad, a computer, where you're engaging for a specific amount of time online that's taking you outside the real world. So the tangible world, you have the physical world, the tangible world, and then you have this meta, which is like, next level internet, right? It's where you actually have a persona that is very close to real, right? It mimics who you are in real life. So that's the metaverse. So meta is Facebook. Meta, Facebook was, obviously brilliant marketers. They said, we want to be a player in the metaverse because the metaverse is now this like trending word, right? And so they branded as Meta. Facebook is not the only player and will not be the only player in the metaverse. Google has a seat at the table. Microsoft has a seat at the table. All these virtual reality companies that are up and coming have a seat at the table. We all have a seat at the table in creating the metaverse. Meta, Facebook, just really wants to be a leading edge player in metaverse. So the definition of metaverse really does not exist yet. You can go out and look it up online. You're going to find different definitions, but it will basically say that it's at a baby stage. And so there's really not that fully defined definition yet of what the metaverse is, but it's going to be anything that takes you away, and this could be bad, from living life in the real world. So you're actually living life out there instead of in the real world. People are already doing it. They're already on their phones when they should be engaging face to face with someone. So some brands will take a stand and say, I don't really want to become engaged any more than I already am in this metaverse. I want to be the real life, coffee shop that people come to and not have that. And others are going to go fully in. Regardless, if you're in marketing or you're a small business owner or you're in a large organization, you should have an understanding of what the metaverse is and start to talk about that strategy of will you engage, and if so, how will you engage?
And that's really, really a great point. And I think, the best way to relate that for some folks is really the introduction of the internet. If you guys can go back to the .com area where not everybody had a website, not anybody even really understood what the internet allowed you to do. But if you remember, there was a lot of stuff happening in terms of buying URLs. So essentially what was being done was they were buying their space in the internet with a URL. Very similarly in the metaverse, you have a digital space. So it's important to be aware of that digital space, not maybe necessarily that you want to jump into that space right now, but know that it's there and that it's something that you may want to work towards in the future. So I think more than anything, the purpose of today's topic is really just awareness, right? Understanding that the metaverse is there and it's not going anywhere.
Right. And I'll give you an example, which I think is a fun example. So if I were to look at my phone and give you the best example I have is there's an app called Redecor that I like to play in, and basically you can go in and you can design a room online and you can earn tokens, and then people vote on your design. The more they vote, the more you get tokens, and then you can buy more tokens to engage more because you go up a level and you want to have fun, and it says, oh, you can't go any further, you have to pay $4.99 to go to the next level because you didn't have enough people vote on your design this time. So it's a money-making app. But what's happening is with brands is they're creating games. That's one way to engage in the metaverse. So let's think about this. You're a brand that is a home goods store. Let's just say you're a small home goods store and you want to compete against these big, like the big real home goods of the world. So you create this decor or design game that people can download, and they design their room with your stuff, like your products, right? And then at the end it says, you want to buy this in real life, and it takes you directly to your website where they can buy the things they put into their virtual room, right? That is a way brands are using it with these gaming. They're gaming, but it's really a buying platform. They're gaming in order to buy, right? And that's any company, service or retail oriented could engage in that way. So, and then there's the very basic level one, like you're flat, and I look at it like as it's more flat. It's not 3D. You're not as engaged. It might be website, right? Do you have an avatar on there that talks? Like, is there a little avatar of you saying, hi, welcome to, that's one way. And we're all playing with those avatars now on our iPhones and such. And you like designing them. So think about like that boutique that has, that creates this little avatar world where you can put your outfit on, and then I want to buy that outfit in real life. And so you can then buy that outfit, right? So those are ways to engage. Now, when we talk about how fast will this become a thing that everybody's doing it, you know, some people say 3 years, some 5, some say it'll be a decade before it's really like this
Often.
massive virtual reality world. So if you played a virtual reality game, you know what I'm talking about. Like the building looks like a real building. You look like you're walking in and sitting down. The idea that people are saying is that that will be a meeting. Like, so if I'm going to meet with you, instead of it being a Zoom meeting, I'm going to invite you into my virtual conference room that looks like my real conference room here, right? And we're going to sit down at the table together. And your avatar and my avatar are going to have a conversation. And that's how business will be done. So how, you know, so what we're encouraging brands to do is to just start thinking about, do I have a persona that's more than just a flat persona? Do I have an avatar? What is my avatar like?
Yes, exactly. So what is the voice of that avatar? And I think that's something that's really important, because that is a way that you can apply what we do, is defining voices. And what is your persona? How do you talk amongst your clients? It can be mimicked in the metaverse.
Yes. What does he or she look like in the metaverse? And so that's really where we want to go with this. So the way YaZo works is, and really this is all that we're doing in this space at this point, would be like discovery meetings where we can take you through a list of, there's about 20 different questions that researchers are asking in this space, from the very basic, do you have an avatar? How would you build your avatar? Would you even know where to start? Basic discovery questions to, yes, I have all that. Now I want to turn it into a game.
Yep.
Where we act as project managers to go out and bring those those builders to the table to say, like, you know, here's 3 options. Let's walk through and discover which is the best option for you to build your app or your game or whatever, to take you to the next level, so that when someone goes to your website, that's how they're engaging. Or you're doing, you know, like a text. I think actually how I got Redecor was through a text. Someone was like, oh, you like interior design, which they know because they're following all your activities.
Yep.
You might be interested in Redecor. So I think like that's just a basic level understanding, is that you have to decide, are you going to play in the metaverse? And if you are, at what level? And then if you say, yes, we are going to play in that metaverse, I think it's really cool. And start having that discovery call. Start with your basic avatar, your voice, like Eli said. Eli loves talking about like your music, what's going to play in the background, all of that, to build that world, that universe that's you and your business. And then the last thing I'll say on it is, in the future, where they think this will go and why you would want to be cognizant of this topic, is that just like Eli started and said back in the day, and I actually remember this, people would buy your URLs, and then when you wanted that URL, because it was your business, you had to buy it from them because they bought it low, and then they were making money off of you. So where they're saying that this will go is, once it's a more defined metaverse, which whatever that consists of, I'm sure there'll probably be more than one, just like there's more than one social platform, right? Then in that space, there would be like the street you live on, or the street your business is on, right? Would be in that space virtually. It would look like that space. You would have the option to buy that space where your building is and create your virtual world in there. But if you didn't want to buy it, someone else could buy it ahead of you. And then when you want to buy it, you'd have to buy it back at a premium. So that's where they think like people are creating these metaverses. And I'm sure Facebook will be one example that they will go to that level, where it won't just be the social platform that we see today, but it will be more like you're engaging in these little mini universes of worlds, right?
And I think eventually, you know, you can even see this going beyond, or it's a mixture of, sort of reality and virtual reality. And that's a lot of what they talk about with augmented reality, which is the AR piece, where you are walking in the physical world, but you have on maybe a set of, you know, the Google Lens glasses or the Apple glasses that are coming out, and you see things that are happening virtually in your physical space. So
Yes.
if you want to play in that space and you want to have real estate or being able to advertise when someone is physically there, but they're also in the virtual world, you may need to purchase that virtually. So that's just
Yes.
really important to stay on the cusp. And this goes back to learning, right? And learning where is Metaverse and what stage are they in their, development? And is
Right.
it appropriate for you to get involved? And how involved should you get? So I think that, that's why we wanted to talk about it today, was because it's going to continuously evolve. And I think it's going to evolve really quickly. So if you don't know what it is, and I'll be honest, even, when I have the discussions with my mom and we do our internal strategy, I was even confused at first when we talk about the metaverse. And I have had a VR set and I've been in VR and played and spent time there because I just, I didn't spend time to learn about what the metaverse really was. So I think that's just important to admit and be open that, hey, you may not know what it's about, but it could be applied to your business. And it's time to just at least understand what it is and if it's applicable to you.
Well, and one last point I'll make is what you're saying about augmented reality is exactly that. The article that I was reading about, where it's going in the future, where you would buy space, was really actually that. So like, let's say somebody comes in and creates the augmented reality of your county that you live in. And they're the founder of that, and they create that, and it looks like that county, and you could be walking through it physically, but it looks like that also when you are in that world. Like Eli said, you could buy or not buy your space in that place. And if you don't buy it, what they were saying is you may exist physically there, but in the augmented reality, you don't exist there. Another business takes that space.
Yep.
It's so really that was crazy to me, but that's what I was thinking about. Like, it's almost like, someone's sitting in the coffee shop, you're there, but then somebody's playing a game, or has their virtual reality world going on, and you're not there in that world. Something else is in there, like a e-commerce store or something.
Absolutely. So the topics go really, really well for, today's episode, which is the learning piece and exploring the metaverse. So if you're interested in it, give us a shout. I mean, that is one of the things that we really do love to dive into, is the strategy piece and having a discovery call, whether you're a current client of YaZo or, you're someone that is looking for just some advice and direction. Give us a shout. We love to have those conversations. And I think it's really important just to be aware of it.
And we love finding the partners. We have a process for vetting, and it'd be really cool to have some demos and talk to people that really are in this world with you. If you're looking at doing that and you just don't have the time to do the research, having a partner that can do that research for you and bring some key players to the table to find out if that's the direction that you really do want to go in.
So if you're interested, let us know. We'd love to, help drive that strategy forward with you and identify some of the partners that may be able to work with you to really develop your space in the metaverse. So give us a shout, drop us a comment. If you have any questions about that or areas you want us to explore in, let us know as well. We can always tee up another episode focused on that. But let's wrap up today's episode with our FineThings shout out. It is American Artist Appreciation Month, for those of you that are not aware. And an artist that is near and dear to our hearts, who is part of our family, and I'm sure you've heard us talk about him in the past, is Ken Faith. Ken is an abstract artist. He has a world of experience for his age and what he's done in the fine art space, studying in New York and getting his master's degree from I'm going to mind blank.
Brooklyn College of the Arts.
Brooklyn College of the Arts. He does commissioned work, whether it is abstract, a little bit of realism, and he plays with different types of media. I think it's really, really important to go take a look at some of the work that he's done. So you can find him online at kennyfaithart.com. So if you guys are interested in exploring some of the work that he already has, take a look at that. I would also just encourage you, if you're looking for something that you want to commission, right? Is there a piece of art that you want to develop for a space? do that in terms of reaching out to Kenny, letting him know what does the space look like, what colors do you want to lean into, what is the emotions do you want to pull out, or have what are you really trying to get the end result to be in your space. Kenny does that really, really well with art. So in fact, hold on, I have actually one of his pieces here. You can see is sort of
looks good.
His style of art. This is going to be hung up in my office, but it just gives you a feel for who Kenny is. So if you're interested, take a look. I know some of this art is available online just to get a better feel for who he is. So kennyfaithart.com if you're interested, take a look. And if you have an artist who is near and dear to your heart, remember it's American Artist Appreciation Month. So give them a shout out. I just think that's really, really important to be a connector and be a community and be able to, empower those that are around you. So I don't know if you have any other closing thoughts, Mom, but that's just the shout out from my end.
No, I just want to say, keep learning. It's fun. Like, challenge yourself to learn on a new topic every month, even something that you don't really think you're interested in. It's, example I'll say is, like, I've been my whole life surrounded by golfers and not engaged in. I'm trying to learn how to hit a ball and, learning actually how to do it instead of just going out there and being like, I can't do this. So I think you just keep learning, and it makes life so much more fun.
It really, really does. Well, we'll end it at that. Dive on into our next episode. If you have any interest, areas, comments, topics, let us know. We would love to tee up something that's tailored to you. But we appreciate y'all diving in with us for episode 18. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, everyone. Cheers.